You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show.
Hello, everyone, and happy Halloween. Bing is for doing, and we are doing another after show for Pretty Little Liars. This is our take 2 attempt. Sorry about last night, guys, but we finally got to see the whole episode, so it's really exciting. I am your host, Kelly, and joined with me are...
I'm Stephanie Wenger.
And Whitney Lane.
And what a great Halloween episode.
Oh my goodness, so much to talk about.
So much. We've got dead bodies, we've got near-death experiences, fighting.
Ghosts maybe? Mm-hmm.
Ghost children. Aren't those the creepiest?
Really?
They really went all out for the Halloween episode.
They really did. And we were talking about before, and as you were saying, that Halloween episode from last season didn't seem to kind of fit in with everything, and this one kind of flowed better.
Exactly. It was a continuation of what we've seen all season, and we're kind of getting more of those clues from A, and there was no exception in this episode. It was a lot of clues about
Smart to have that web series. I think it kind of led into it.
Yeah.
All of them buying their costumes and stuff, so if you didn't watch it, go back, because maybe you'll learn a little bit about it.
Well, let's talk about the costumes. I mean, I think the costumes were great. And, in the beginning, we see the girls are talking about their costume theme was picking a TV character or movie character and not telling each other who it was and just, showing up. And the only ones that I got were Marilyn Monroe and
Daisy
from The Great Gatsby. So what was Toby and Spencer? Were they...
I feel as if that little line that she said was like, whistle for me. I don't know if that came from a movie, but I was like, I have no idea what movie this is.
I mean, maybe. It was older. It was like an older movie.
It was definitely a gangster. I mean, they were going gangster.
Well, see, that's what I thought. Were they maybe like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing? Were they kind of something like that? I don't know. If you guys know, let us know, because they never really said what she was supposed to be. And what was up with...
She was supposed to be with Shay Mitchell, her character, was Emily. She was supposed to be like some astronaut type thing. Because did you hear Hannah say something like, oh, the wedding cake from outer space or something?
Well, I was thinking, there's an old movie like that, so that's what I was thinking it was, kind of like a Barbarella or something like that. But I didn't get what Paige was.
We obviously need to watch more movies because we did not know what was happening.
We're clearly TV girls, and we need to get up on our movie knowledge.
Yeah, so help us out.
At least with their costumes, you could see their faces, because the creepy ones were all the masked people that who knows how many people were on the A-team for the Halloween episode.
Well, and we saw from the web series, those costumes that really stood out, were
the baby face,
the red Joker costume. They were around front and center, and not necessarily the nicest people behind those costumes.
I know. I was trying to watch the whole time to see if, because Lucas, he was taking pictures at the beginning, and kind of staring at Hannah as she walked by in her Marilyn Monroe costume. But he had a bow tie on, and I was trying to be like, wonder if he's transitioning to some masked character or something. But I couldn't really tell.
No, but he had a very weird exchange with Jason.
Jason followed him on the so we get to the party.
Weird when once they're at the party, they have this weird kind of thing, but that just reminded me about that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it in that.
Because there's so much in this party, we gotta start with the beginning.
So do they start for the shuttles to go to this train? Does everything start at that coffee shop? Is that where it all starts? Is that where they were?
Where was it? I don't know. It looked like a big little get together before they get on the train. It had to be. It had to be like a train stop. I mean, they got on the train from it.
Well, no, they took a shuttle because they were going to take shuttles. It was like shuttles to the
I thought coffee shop.
I thought it was the coffee shop too. Anyway, so everybody's there, and they're all hanging out, getting ready to go to this party, and then they get called for the shuttles. and
Stupid
that's when,
Noel right there. You can already
Yes.
tell. Which I thought already, you got to think about it, because they're like, why didn't you have your, like, traditional, you have an annual Halloween party? He didn't have one this year, so it makes you question him a little bit more, I think, getting on this train where all this crap goes down.
Well, and what's so funny about that is that we start before they even get on the train with something kind of weird with him, and then the episode ends with, you know, something with him. So I'm wondering if he's playing a bigger part in this whole thing than, you know, if because we have to be very, like, what do you call it? Like a detective with this. 'cause
Right.
There's
You
so
have
many things
to.
that go on. You have to look and be skeptical of everybody. This show goes in so many different
Which
ways.
now I have so many more predictions that we'll get to, but I mean, so many people now that I think could be a part of this A-team.
Well, I feel like Toby, it was like no one ever expected it to be Toby on the A-team, and so now it could be anyone.
Right.
You just feel like your world, there's no one safe
Well, and
in
now
this world.
there's so many more possibilities after this, you know, after this train, or after this party, like everybody on the train.
Absolutely, and they were questioning everybody, and they kind of at the end of the episode mentioned that they had everybody who had had some contact with Garrett on the same part of the train, and we're gonna question everyone, and so it's gonna be interesting to see, hopefully, when the season in January comes back, what happens with that.
Yeah, so they take the shuttles.
yeah, let's
they,
talk about the party. I love it.
They take the shuttles. They go on this fantastic train.
Why, it's huge. Is it just for them?
Better than any high school party I've ever seen.
And it seems like it's only the high schoolers. Does no one else get invited?
It's very weird. I'm just like, what is Rosewood? What is
Who
it?
lives there? Is it only the high school kids that get to do all the
It
cool
is.
stuff? What's going on? But it was a fantastic party, and you
Well,
know,
they walk right onto the train, and there's Adam Lambert. Because they
Yeah.
had talked about, they were like, oh, there's supposed to be some guest musician.
Uh-huh.
Come to find out, which everyone knew, but there he was. Pretty good songs. I hear people have, like, been singing them. They were pretty catchy, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought his costume was good. He was, you know, a
Vampire.
vampire. It was kind of like the whole vampire Lestat thing going on.
It totally fits his persona as well. It was a good fit. It would be ridiculous to have him be some, like,
Yeah.
ridiculously happy, something like you wanted to see him
Right.
in that vampire.
No, I thought he looked great. I thought his little interaction with Aria was a little awkward.
Super awkward. I was like, what's happening?
It just seemed like it just kind of came out of nowhere and didn't really
It
fit
also-
with anything.
And it didn't go anywhere afterwards. You
Right.
wanted him to be, like, help her escape or
Do
to have
something.
some other like story with her. It was just this random conversation that happened between her and Adam Lambert. And you're
Yeah.
like, all right, well,
Just
good.
kind of strange. but,
I
you know,
guess he's
whatever.
supposed to be the entertainment, though. You know, everyone's dancing at first, and then she's alone, so he goes and tries to see if she's having fun.
Right.
Still a little bit awkward, I would agree. when the train gets so loud and she says her name over and over when he asks what it is, so she
Right.
has to type it or print it
Right
out
on
onto
the-
the
But
window.
that becomes a big clue later
Right,
on.
absolutely. I mean, and everything is. We have to watch everything these girls do, down to everything that they wear. You know, because that even were clues in this episode. The clutch that she was carrying, the necklace that she had on. You know, all of that stuff. So everything plays a part. So, what I want to know, like, how wide is this train? How do they all fit like they're at a concert? I've never been on a train like
No.
that before.
No.
No, I mean, most trains are kind of, you fit in like sardines and you just go. It's not,
It
not
was a
like
special
that.
train, okay, for the Pretty Little Liars.
It was a fantastic party. I
was.
want to be invited to that party. It was awesome.
It's an artistic license. It's a party on a train. Let's go with it.
I
Pretty
bet
Little
the
Liars
party
world.
part was pretty fun to film because they were all like dancing, kind of going crazy, you know, like being their age. And then you see that masked, like opera dude come up to Hannah and like I don't know what he did, but she freaked out and was like, "Don't touch me ever again." And I knew it from the beginning. I was like, "That has to be Caleb. You can see his long hair." Come to find out, Caleb somehow made it on the train. So sneaky.
Yeah, so they got to spend a little bit of time together and, you know, hang out a little bit more because they've been hiding from everyone the fact they're, you know, back together. They've been hiding from A, so they've been making out in closets and kind of
At the dentist.
You know, yeah, Hannah's always going to the dentist and she's not really going to the dentist. She's going to make out with Caleb. So that was really cute that they had some time to hang out. But one thing that I thought was interesting is, you know, he comes to hang out with her and, you know, he's just standing on one side of the room kind of waving to her most of the time. They're not even
So
really hanging
weird.
out.
Yeah, it felt like it was not an episode too much about the relationships between the girls and their boyfriends. It was more about once again, that relationship with the girls and
Mhm.
A. Yeah, because we didn't get a lot about Aria and Ezra and all of that, but we have a little bit, I guess.
Right. But the party itself, it looked great. It was, the perfect setting for all of these things to happen as they did. But before we get into all the good stuff, what's going on with Pastor Ted and
I think they're falling in love. Little Ashley Marin and Pastor Ted trick-or-treating as the nurse and the doctor. And then she goes into the kitchen and there's this little creepy girl.
kids, like creepy kids?
Yeah.
That really scares me.
Well, because the reason it's creepy to me is like you could see her like how cold she was when they were
Mhm.
talking and stuff. So it makes you think like that can't be a normal child. If
And
she's
just
that
her voice, the way, like the tone of her voice,
whispers.
the way she was talking, and just it was just
They
very,
als-
very creepy.
They also washed out her face so
Yeah.
much that it was just like you knew.
This girl did not look like if not healthy. If she was actually there, she didn't look very healthy. She looked very scary.
Right, so that brings up the whole idea is if she was a ghost because she's supposed to call her mom but then goes upstairs and that's where Ashley finds her next
Mm-hmm.
and puts a blanket over because she's so cold and she said something about her sister always tattles on her and her mom gets mad that they're sisters but they fight all the time and you're like who's she talking about?
Yeah, who is this little girl and what part is she gonna play later on?
Because the next thing you know she brings Ted up to find her and the blanket's folded and the girl's gone. That
Right.
makes you question, like, or at least wonder, is this some kind of
Was she
ghost coming
yeah?
back?
Was the little girl really there, or was this just something that Ashley saw? Does she have a little ghostly encounter?
Right.
So she's sitting at the table. She's talking to Ted, and she's asking him, do you believe in ghosts? This whole thing, and that's just kind of where it left. So I'm curious to see if this little girl's gonna pop up again. Who is she? I don't know.
I think she has to because there's so many questions unanswered with her.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you guys think? We want to know. We always want to know what you think. We want to know what you think about our shows. So please go to iTunes and rate and comment and give us your theories. We love to hear your theories. You guys have some great ones. And also, who do you think this little girl is? And what did you think of the costumes? Everybody's costumes tonight.
That we don't know who's.
Yeah, I mean,
Who they
we're
were.
horrible. I'm going to have to do some research on that and figure out who these people
Exactly. Fill us in. It
Yeah.
would be hugely helpful. But yes, definitely iTunes is the way to go, and you can tweet at us as well.
are. Absolutely. So back to Garrett.
Yeah, let's get into the whole party situation.
And you guys know how these episodes go. It's very spiderwebby. Everything kind of intertwines and all of that, and it's very hard to kind of get through everything we're gonna do. We're gonna
Right.
do our best here. So we first see Garrett. He's at Spencer's. Shows up at Spencer's with flowers. He had sent some flowers over to her mom, and he said that. And I thought their interaction there was a little bit creepy. He keeps walking towards her. She's backing up, and
well, because I mean, they do think he killed someone.
yeah, but just like why he was kind of charging at her when he was trying to talk to
He's
her.
trying to get what he knows out to somebody before something bad happens.
And he says that he really wanted to try to protect her. He really likes her, and he wanted to try to
Yeah.
save her. If out of everyone, he wanted to try to save her. So what does
Yeah,
I
that was
wonder
interesting.
what he means by that. Like, did he know something more than what we?
He
glad
was
to
good
hear.
friends with Melissa. Maybe there's something there that
Mm-hmm.
he found out. I don't know. That was odd to me because
Right.
I was like, I've never seen like Garrett and Spencer.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they were like best friends or anything. They in fact seem less close than some of the other
Right. So
girls.
for him just to make that comment, I thought was pretty interesting. And then Toby busts in, and because we know.
I know it kills me.
It's so frustrating because, of course, he's never going to let them be alone so they can talk. Because he wants to make sure that, he doesn't say anything ever.
I loved how she was like, "What am I gonna do with you, alpha male?" And it's just like, "No, he's A.
Yeah.
He is A. You are in danger right now, Spencer, and Garrett's trying to help you."
Yes. So, I don't know.
Somehow he
just-
makes it onto the train, which is good because then Spencer has a chance. But
Well, he's in that freaky doll face costume.
which
The
know,
baby doll face.
which before they even got on the train, Hanna and Aria saw and was like, "Whatever, it's just a costume."
Mm-hmm.
It's actually good to know that was Garrett, I feel like, because
Yeah.
it wasn't as creepy. I don't know why. I kind of feel like he's not a bad guy for some reason.
I think he might have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he saw too many things that he may not understand what he saw.
yeah.
And it just kind of got out of hand maybe, and then he was an easy fall guy.
It's true.
So maybe it was just that he was in all of these places at the wrong time, so he was an easy person for the A-team to pin things on.
I think he might have started out bad, but then has kind of turned over a new leaf and is trying to, you know, shed light on all these things that the girls are going through because he has all this information. And maybe he was involved in some capacity, but really did take the fall.
Right. Well, he was doing the videos and all of that, so I think he was kind of jerky or maybe a little douchey, but not necessarily to the point where I think he would kill anyone.
No, I think now it's just him trying to save himself. I don't know that he necessarily cares about these girls, but I think it's like, I've got to tell them so somebody knows in case something happens, which inevitably it wasn't a good turnout for Garrett. But, I mean, it started out with Aria just sitting there, and then the next thing you know, you have that interaction with Adam Lambert, and then you see A, and her purse is sitting there. Then it just jumps into everyone getting attacked and everything going crazy.
Yeah, because Garrett basically kidnaps Spencer. Well, we think she's getting kidnapped by this crazy, you know, baby doll costume person. You know, puts his hand over her mouth and drags her to outside in between the cars.
Which is just creepy altogether because they're spending way too much time in between these train cars where you could fall off. And
I was waiting for somebody to get thrown off, pushed off, pulled off, something.
Well, it almost happened.
Yeah. But we learned some good information there. We learned that the last time before Garrett left Allison's house, Allie was still alive.
Yeah, the night that Allie died. So him and Jenna were walking out. Apparently, Jason and Melissa were in a fight in Allie's room, remember? Because they had the whole footage from that.
Well, it was Ian, right?
Was it Ian?
Or was it Jason?
Oh, I think they're all involved in this, so I don't remember. It probably was Ian and Melissa. And then he's walking out, and there's Allie at the tree, and she's just so mean to Jenna.
Just taunting her, being really ugly.
I have to say, though, this was like the bombshell to me that I didn't expect it at all. Normally, I'm okay at predicting this show, but this was the thing that I just could not have predicted.
But it also lets us know that Jenna did think that
that she was dead.
That she knows who the killer is. So according to Jenna, she does know who the killer is, and she's still trying to play the innocent, I'm just as scared as you game to them.
Unless she's smart, because he did say I took care of it. He didn't say I killed her. Or when she kept asking. Well, they found the hockey stick, so that's like kind of the main thing, because that's what was found and put into like evidence. And he hits the tree with it, and Allie sinks down. And then she's like, is she dead? And he just says, I took care of it, and they left. So if Jenna was smart enough, I think she'd realize maybe he didn't actually kill her. Something's going on right here.
Right.
But we'll see.
I mean, we don't know, and that's another unanswered question that we need to find out. And also, he tells us that he saw Allie and Aria's dad having a little heated conversation about something, which
that was
is absolutely
weird.
Surprising.
I feel like I'm skeptical of him altogether because he had an affair anyways, and it's like, was he also like, what was Allie like? How was she a part of this?
I think she was threatening him, so I wonder. What was she threatening him about the affair? Because that's before Aria told him that she knew about it. So maybe she was threatening to out him. I wonder what that whole situation was. I can't imagine he was, involved. But I mean, who knows? Who knows?
I don't think so. But
I didn't get that impression from it. It was more of a blackmailing kind of thing. So but I wonder again, like what.
Yeah, I know
what's going on there.
That's another thing that I hope in the new season that we get more information about, because it's crazy. But I just don't understand. Like, her blackmailing him seems like a really surprising turn for the show.
Right. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out
what that's all about. So we have Spencer that wants to go and run and get Aria, let her know what Garrett's just told her before getting the rest of his information. Or was that all he was planning to say? I feel like he was going to say something else.
I'm sure she could have gotten more out of him. That's the other thing. It's like, Spencer, come on. You're usually Miss Detective. You'd think she could have gotten a little more, but she's like, wait right there. Don't move. He's like, I don't have anywhere to go. And she goes, and that's when they can't find Aria.
When they figure out that Aria's missing, and they find, and we see, we see the red-headed Joker, or the red costume Joker person, put something in Aria's drink.
Right.
And drugged her. So she obviously must have like passed out, and how did no one see her pass out? How did no one see her?
That's the thing. They needed to stick together. They should have known. Like, be smarter instead of going off with your significant other, because we saw Emily and Paige lock themselves in a room, and then Caleb and Hannah. I mean, I don't even feel like they were together half the time.
I know.
But yeah, so no one really saw where Aria went, and that was the big question. How are we going to find her? That's when Hanna goes and tells who she thinks is Caleb. We don't know where Aria is. Like, something's going on. And then she looks over and sees Caleb over getting a drink of something, and then she pulls off the mask, and it's a face of Allie, like a mask of Allie.
Like, yeah, a Halloween mask of Allie's face. How creepy is that?
Well, how did she not, like, literally
like
pull up
it
the
off?
other? Come on, girlfriend. She just ran away, and I was like, or the guy got away, whoever it was, guy or girl, and it's like, you could have easily found out who was under that mask.
You're like, I would have chased.
I would have. I would have been like, no, this isn't happening.
Well, I think Mona was either Mona or maybe the new Shauna girl was the red Joker thing, maybe.
We got lots. I mean,
Like,
we
that's
know
what-
Mona was coming because she painted that face at the beginning of the episode and put it in her bed.
Right.
So she had to be there. She was talking to someone in a hood.
Well, and did you guys catch right before Garrett took Spencer the humming of the song that Mona was singing in the beginning? That in that like room where that she was standing in front of.
I did
Did
not
you catch
that.
I didn't the first time we were trying to watch it, but I did when I watched it tonight. That the humming of that song from the very beginning, right before Garrett came and took her. So I wonder if, because after all of that happens, we see that Joker costume attack Spencer and get in a fight, and I wonder if she was waiting to do that at that point, but then Garrett came and got in the way.
Right.
So I wonder if that was Mona because I heard the humming of that song.
But I feel like Spencer's stronger than Mona. I don't know why. I just felt like that
Maybe
was the
she's
guy.
like on steroids or something. I don't know.
Well, but somehow Paige is the one that rescues her. She literally runs out of nowhere.
I know. Where did she come from? I thought she's locked in a room making out with Emily.
I
Where was
can't.
Emily?
I'm just like, where? No. This is what I'm saying. They're all involved, you guys.
You're just like, no one.
Oh, I can't trust any of them.
Oh, well, Paige saves her. They have their moment that we had talked about in the show when we were talking about the web series, that they, we're going to have their little sweet moment.
Which was weird because Paige's response when Spencer said thank you it was a pleasure.
Again,
Really weird.
Odd.
that still doesn't seem to fit. I still don't fully trust that character. Like, I don't trust Paige. I still think that there's more.
Paige is another one where I feel like there's a good and a bad side to her. She seems to care about Emily, but on the flip side, she's got this whole other I'll call them tendencies going on.
I like it.
I know.
Well, you kind of wonder this whole time, I think, where Toby is.
Right. We see him, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah.
Like, for a second?
Where Caleb is most of the time. And, I mean, Emily and Hanna, where were they when Spencer's getting attacked? Because Paige saves her. Where was Emily?
Right.
They're all kind of all over the place.
And I also have to say that Ian Harding, Ezra, he shows up at the train at the very end.
Right.
And I kind of wondered, was he on this train the entire
well,
time?
Of course, yeah. I mean, that was a big thing towards the end of it that, we got to get to that for sure because that was creepy.
Yeah, it was super creepy. And I just didn't know. I always want to trust him. I know we've said this 100 times, but he's starting to show a lot of things, again, with the tendencies that I'm not enjoying.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
especially because in the very beginning of the episode, we find out he wasn't able to come to the party because he said he had a meeting in Philadelphia about ghostwriting a book, and it had to be that night. But when he hugs Aria, just the expression on his face was like maybe he wasn't telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how Aria gets attacked first before we get to him because he shows up right at the perfect time, I think.
Right.
Because, so all these girls are like, okay, Aria's missing, we got to find her.
Well, and then Hanna says that Caleb's making his way down to the front of the train with Toby.
That made me
And with
question a
Paige.
lot. Paige, go meet up with them at the front.
yeah.
We're going this way. I'm already questioning all three of those people, of their significant others right there, because I'm like, they're in this somehow. But then even when they're walking through, I saw, like, if you notice, I don't know, it was one split second where Lucas's camera was just sitting.
Where
on
Jenna looks at it.
Exactly. So then already Lucas doesn't have his camera with him. Where did he go? What was he wearing? I don't know. But we get to the big box where Aria's stuck.
Well, because we find out that Aria's trapped in a makeshift
box,
coffin, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she's duct tape on her mouth. Her hands are duct taped. She's
Freaking out, which is
out.
understandable.
And she looks over, and we see Garrett's dead body.
He falls on top of her.
How horrible!
Now, I didn't even know it was Garrett at first.
It was hard. It was kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
But
and then she used the nail to get the duct tape off of her, and then you hear a guy and a girl's voice.
The whispering.
Did you think it was a guy and a girl?
I did.
That's what I heard, but you never know.
I thought me guessing. I was thinking one of them was Lucas.
And then I thought it could be Mona. But then I was like, is it Toby?
It could have been Toby. I don't know.
I definitely agree with Mona, and yeah, the guy was harder.
It was harder to tell.
Lucas, I'm not sure where he fits into all of this.
Because he put his camera down. What did he put his camera down to go do? He's taking pictures all over the place.
Right.
So he went to go set it down to go push this coffin off the train.
Which is the scariest. Could you imagine being alive in this coffin? You're about to be pushed off a train.
Yeah, they open the sidecar. They're trying to push it over. Okay, here's my problem with this whole scenario that's happening right now. They're pushing the coffin over. It gets stuck on I'm calling it a coffin, the wooden box.
Right.
Yeah. It gets stuck on
a baby rock
on a nail or something.
like
a screw coming off the thing. And the two bad people are whispering, push it, push it. They get it over this thing. Aria's screaming, and then all of a sudden,
they're gone.
Oh, she's got a screwdriver in there. Where did the screwdriver come from?
I know. Why didn't you
That
grab
didn't make
that
any
far
sense.
sooner? Because you see her over and over again trying to get her wrist undone. If you had the screwdriver,
maybe she didn't notice it at first.
Yeah, all of a sudden
give her the
it's right
benefit.
there.
But she stabbed somebody, didn't she?
Yeah, and that's why I have another little prediction of who she stabbed, but we'll get to it in a second.
So she stabs somebody, they run, and then all of a sudden the girls come in, see what's happening,
save her,
and there's a hammer there. It's right there. Get it. Why is there a hammer? Why is everything so accessible?
Yeah, why couldn't someone use that? Like, Garrett, save yourself. You're a guy. Couldn't he have used some of these tools to fend off these people?
There's a screwdriver in the box, a hammer right outside of it.
Crazy. Luckily, the liars come and save their friend and find Garrett's dead body.
Yeah.
Did you have the same thought I did, though, about the fact that you've got the train momentum going, this box literally almost
it's
teetering.
Teetering.
Yeah.
And three girls are going to pull that back in? That just seemed like a very
with two
odd-
bodies.
With two bodies in it?
Yeah.
And
it
shut
was-
the door
It was so easy.
afterwards.
It was so easy for them to just pull it back. Yeah. That's...
I mean,
but
let's be honest.
It's adrenaline.
Not, yeah.
They're scared. They've all been attacked. It's that extra adrenaline rush they get.
They've all been attacked. That's sad. It's a Halloween party, people. Like, come on.
Well, these girls can never just relax and have fun. You know,
Rosewood is not a safe place.
No, even when Emily and Paige are trying to have their moment and they're professing their love to each other and how they're excited that they're together and can this really happen? And Emily says, yeah, this can happen when nobody's looking. And then we see the
somebody's
hooded,
looking.
Somebody in a hood that's watching them.
Well, yeah, it's creepy. There's always someone in the background. But then that's when, let's get back to Ezra. He comes in because they save her. They're all in what part of the train? Another large area.
In one of the cars. One of the cars where the police
but they're the only ones left. So did the train stop?
In this specific car, because and as who pointed it out? I can't remember who pointed it out.
I think they were talking about that there were other cars and everybody in that car were all Garrett, related to Garrett.
They've separated everyone and were questioning, getting
Makes
statements
sense.
and all of that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of an interesting little turn of events in that car, because you see Noel get a little bit belligerent again, like, this has nothing to do with me, why am I here? And Toby comes at him, and I think that was staged. I seriously think it was all staged, because Toby pushes him so the ice with the drinks will fall, and there we find
yet another dead body, and
with the funeral
but
home
it
thing
was
on
right
the top.
on time though, because Jason happens to be in there. Everybody that needs to see this is in that room to see this, and it has the funeral stamp on the bag, so everyone assumes that this is Allie's body that's been missing. Everyone was pulling drinks out of this place with her body underneath it. How horrible.
Creepy.
Ew. How do you even begin to just get over that? I don't even know. That is just beyond creepy.
Well, I know this, like with Ezra, since we were talking about, I just hate that he comes back and he's like, I drove beside the train until I could catch up with you. No.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
I'm like, you have a stoplight. Something's gonna stop you from
Well,
doing.
no, he
Idiot.
was waiting at the end. He said he drove. He drove beside the tracks to see where it was stopped, and
But he's just telling bigger and bigger lies.
He was
at
on
this
that
point.
train dressed up like somebody.
I think you might be right. I'm starting to think that he's.
Because he told a lie at the beginning about missing the party, as we mentioned.
It looked like, at least, he looked sketchy.
He looked sketchy,
altogether.
and they definitely held that camera on him for a long minute before they cut away. It wasn't just like, oh, I can't make it tonight, you go have fun. It was definitely, there was that look of like
hiding something.
Yeah.
And then he's suddenly right there when everything's kind of resolved, and he's like, look, I'm here, and she like runs to him, and it just made
And
me
she's
question
kind of shocked,
everything.
and you know,
yeah.
I drove till I found you. You found me, and they have their embrace.
And
And
it's just like,
and all of
no,
that.
girl, think about this. Who drives? No.
Yeah.
All of these girls, I'm just like, watch out for who you're with because they're all involved in this.
Yeah, but that fight with Noel and Toby was.
I thought it was
pretty
totally
lame.
staged.
I thought it was pretty
Because,
lame.
and the reason I thought it was staged was because at the beginning when Noel has that little prank where he's choking, Toby doesn't even really put forth an effort to try to like do the Heimlich maneuver. He's just like, okay, put you down on the ground, and then that pops up and scares people, and Toby's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I really think it's all, they're in it together.
Well,
Toby and Noel.
absolutely. Well, and Jenna, I think she's more a part of this than and trying to play both sides than. But I mean, we've always thought that, and that kind of fits her character. But when she runs into Paige, and she says, you know, you lose your girlfriend, and just every little interaction she had,
Yeah.
it has been questionable up to this point.
Always.
So,
That's Jenna for you.
yeah, with her. I mean, I thought her costume was great. I thought
Yeah.
it was really funny where, Toby, when she's talking to Toby, what do you think about my costume? And he puts his hand over her other eye. I liked you better like that. Basically, I like you better blind.
No.
Low blow.
How horrible.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't like anything about Toby anymore because I don't trust him. And Spencer is telling him everything. Like, he's in the perfect position.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows.
No one knows. I don't know. I can't see Caleb being a part of that, though.
I don't know. I'm questioning them all just
No.
because, like...
My big issue with Caleb is that I feel like he's so involved in all the tech side,
mhm.
and A has been in the past. She sends text messages, or the group sends text messages and things like that. And I just feel like maybe he's on the technical side of it. I don't
Right.
know. Maybe he's not doing the actual things, but he's helping them in some capacity.
Maybe.
I wouldn't think that he would be just because he did get shot. He is, like, super protective. The thing I don't question is how they feel about the liars. Like, Caleb, you can tell he really likes Hannah.
Well, and
And I
also
think-
his mother almost got run off the road. So I
Yeah.
can't. That's just another thing of why I can't see that he's.
Right.
Yeah, but go ahead.
And then, like, I think Toby, I do think he cares about Spencer. I don't see it as all an act, at least. So, to an extent, I could see him more putting on an act. But then Paige, same thing, actually. Caleb's the only one I think's genuine. Man.
Well, Paige is just, her character is so awkward and just ingenuine to me. I don't know. I just don't, even when she seems to be really into Emily and is really excited about being together and all that, there's just something off, I think.
There is.
I don't know.
And as for Ezra, I just feel like he was really into Aria, and I felt like that was the true relationship on the show, one of the true relationships. And now I just, when they've scenes together, it's completely different, and it's almost like he joined at some point. In the beginning he wasn't, and then
Yeah.
Right.
he became part
Well,
of
I
it.
wonder if there's going to be a reason because of everything going on with his family, him trying to be on his own, and because he doesn't like to be attached to his family. Maybe they.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
Plus-
maybe he's with the baby.
Well, yeah.
That's
that
what I was
was
going to
his-
say. Good
yeah.
one.
Yeah, maybe he's got something going on with that. I don't know.
Mhm.
It may not be an A thing. It might be more
maybe
of
he's
a.
just going back with the ex and trying to
Right.
Yeah.
Trying
You
to
know.
figure it all out.
figure
He's
all
still
that out.
deceiving her, though.
Yeah, either way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's been their whole relationship, really, though.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
true.
started from deception. So I don't know where you'll go from there, people.
Make a
It
valid
never
point.
gets better when you start out with lies.
Yeah.
Very true.
I don't know. But it's crazy.
Well,
But
I feel like I have tons of predictions for this one,
yeah.
so we'll get to that in a bit, I'm sure. But
Well, this is a great show, and over at AfterBuzz, we do after shows for a lot of other great shows. I know you guys do. You do
Nashville and Heart of Dixie, yep.
So make sure that you guys go to AfterBuzzTV.com, check out some of the other shows, go to iTunes. You can subscribe to them all for free. Download, rate, and comment. There's a lot of great shows on. Other shows I do are Grey's Anatomy.
I
We've
do
got
Glee. Yeah.
Vegas. There's some, Sons of Anarchy. Great shows. So.
Revenge.
Revenge, yes, Revenge.
Get it, Bill.
Yes. So there's lots and lots of good stuff out there, and so make sure that you go check out the site and get your buzz on.
I like it.
Well, why don't we go ahead and get into our news and gossip, and then we can do predictions.
I know. I'm ready.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we have some casting news for Pretty Little Liars. Woo! Super exciting. So they're going back to having another Olympian on the show. And if you remember watching the Olympics this summer, you'll remember Missy Franklin. She's a swimmer, and she's going to be coming on the show and, of course, hanging out with Emily, who's a swimmer on the show. And she's not stretching too far. She's also going to play a swimmer on the show.
It works.
But it'll be fun to see her in Rosewood. And I guess they don't start off too well, Emily and Missy, but they forge a friendship. That's what I'm hearing from The Hollywood Reporter.
I could see it being competitive.
Absolutely.
Because obviously she comes in and she is an Olympic swimmer in real life. I bet she's pretty good against Emily when it happens.
Yeah, and Lucy Hale from the show is, as we mentioned earlier in another episode of this, that she signed with Hollywood Records and will be putting out her own record soon. And we're going to hear that music she tweeted this spring. She said, I just want to share with you all that we have music to share by spring of next year. Can't wait. And I can't wait for that, too. That'll be so fun.
I love it.
And then we have true gossip. So we've heard that James Franco, who stars in Spring Breakers with Ashley Benson, is now dating her. I think there's about a 10-year age gap between them.
Well, what happened to Justin Bieber's swag coach?
I know. I think that ended-ish. We can assume that ended. But he actually, interestingly, there were photos over the weekend of them at a theme park here in Los Angeles, kind of cuddled together. But James Franco wrote a post for the Huffington Post today saying that he is not dating any of those girls. He's like, I've heard that I'm dating Selena Gomez, Kristen Stewart, and Ashley Benson. I must be a lucky guy. It's true. Very true. If you were with all those ladies, lucky guy. But he says he's never been close to Kristen. He was 13 rows away from her, in fact. Never talked to her. And he wouldn't mess with Justin Bieber's girls. In other words, Ashley and Selena. So he's denying it at this point. It'll be interesting to see if they get caught by the paparazzi.
I can't really picture him with someone that, just because of his kind of artistic, going that young. I mean, I don't know, but who knows? It's Hollywood.
You never know.
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. Well, the Halloween episode actually jumped up in ratings from the episode last season. The Hollywood Reporter says that last year they got about 2.5 million, and this time it was 2.85 million.
Awesome.
So.
Great.
I mean, I know
More
we were
people are
tuning
into
in,
it.
right? I'm sure plenty of people were.
Yeah, the episode this year was so good.
No, it was great. It was so great. I don't know if I can talk about dead bodies like I'm over it. I don't know. I don't know. No more
Right?
dead bodies. They're popping up everywhere.
Constantly.
Well, let's get into our predictions.
Yay.
I want to hear all of yours.
Okay, good.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, can I start?
Yes.
Go
Okay,
for it.
so
please.
we talked about how we heard like the guy and the girl voice in the coffin, the pseudo coffin, and then I don't know why I mentioned that I thought it was Lucas, because I actually think it could have been Noel, because if you go back like at the end, he always keeps one hand in his pocket when he's talking to people at the end, when he's like, I shouldn't have to be a part of this. I was like really kind of
Ooh, good catch.
I don't know if that's even, if I'm just far-fetched, like a far-reaching prediction, but he wasn't showing one of his hands in case that was the one that got punctured by the screwdriver. And another thing, I don't know if this is really a prediction, but Cece wasn't in this episode, so I wonder if she could have potentially been one behind the mask.
True. Why was she not?
Especially her whole little thing with Jason that happened during the web series, and I'm thinking maybe she is in on this
Yeah,
as
she
well.
would have been front and center at the party.
Right.
Why was she missing? Good. Yeah, no,
Exactly.
that's a good one.
So we'll
That's
see.
a good one. Well, and also something that we've forgot to mention is at the end of the episode, which I think is a very big clue. You know, Mona's back in her bed at the at the asylum, and that alley mask is on the floor.
Right.
So that leads us to believe that she was the one trying to impersonate with the same Caleb costume as Caleb.
Which I think is that would make most sense to me, just because Hanna was the one with the costume or with the pseudo Caleb. That would make sense because Mona and her, I don't know, they just have that relationship.
Right.
And it wasn't like she was trying to attack her or anything, but she was just listening to what she had to say.
Interesting. What about your prediction?
I think I'm going to go with my Aria and Ezra prediction.
Okay.
That I think I said it earlier, but I still think they're heading towards a split. I just feel like he's making a tower of lies, and eventually that's all going to fall apart. You can't keep lying to someone. And she's basically, from what we can tell, at his apartment all the time. You know he's going to take a shower, he's going to do something, and she's going to find something. I mean, it's just a matter of time, I feel like, for them.
Absolutely.
Maybe Wes will step in and take over.
Maybe we know that he's coming back. You know, he's definitely going to be back when the show returns in January.
Yep.
So who knows? I don't know.
Got
I don't
any
know.
predictions? I feel like there's so many.
There's just so many. I mean, it's all basically the same things as you guys. I mean, I'm just really here to see. I want to know who this little creepy girl is.
Oh yeah,
I want
I
want more answers. I want
We'll
to
get
stop
'em.
having questions. I want more answers.
We'll get them. Just have to wait till January to find out.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Make sure to check us back in January. We're excited for when the season comes back.
So excited.
Have a great Halloween, and make sure to go to iTunes, rate, comment, let us know what you thought about the episode, and check out some of our other shows. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV, and you can follow me at Kelly with an IE 079.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm at Whitney Lane 1118.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.